Hey, what's going on, everybody? Justin here at Triumphal Reads, and in this video I want to do my July TBR, and hopefully this one gets up a little bit earlier than my June one, where I think it was like the 14th or 15th or 16th, something like that, of the month before it got uploaded, so hopefully this one gets up pretty early in the month of July, so hopefully that goes well. But anyways, I want to be trying out kind of my new TBR schematic. Is that even the right word? That I've been trying out for the past couple months, where I pick a couple nature books because every month I want to just keep reading like biology and nature, the living world, stuff like that. And then for my history reads, what I'm doing is picking like a particular era or topic or time period, something like that, and then reading all my history books kind of on that one major theme. And I think it's been going really well for me. I've really been enjoying it. 2 months ago I picked kind of just like the medieval period as a whole, and then last month I picked ancient Rome, and I've really been enjoying it, so I'm just going to keep going. And to kind of finish up the classical world, I'm going to be doing the Greek side of things, and doing Greek history for kind of my Greek history reads, or my history reads, like I said, just focusing on classical and ancient Greece. So I think that'll be kind of cool. And then I'm going to pick out 1 or 2 Warhammer books also as like kind of my fiction for the month. Like I said, every now and then there might be a fantasy book, but no guarantees. So let's just get started with the nature books. Okay, the first one's gonna be a Kindle read, and it's The Story of More, How We Got to Climate Change and What to Do From Here. I think is what the subtitle is, by Hope Jarin. I've heard really good things about this little book, really great reviews. Some of the commendations from like E.O. Wilson stuff are just tremendous, and I'm not 100% sure exactly what the entire book is about per se, but it seems to be about either more like in the expanding population or kind of expanding consumption of just everything of the planet, and how obviously that has a negative impact on climate change and whatnot, and sort of where we going forward, like what we really should do to kind of realistically curb it down and stuff, I think is what the book is about. But I've seen really great ratings, like I said, stellar reviews from really cool authors and stuff that I follow as well, so really hoping that one pans out to be really well done. All right, now for some other nature books. I've recently acquired a bunch of nature books written by Black authors. With everything kind of going on, I decided I need to make sure I include a lot of like people of color and Black authors just in my science books in general, because when I went through my nature and science books, it was a fairly severe lack, I guess, of authors of color. So I tried to remedy that and bought a bunch. And for one of them for this month, actually there will be, the next 2 are both actually written by Black authors. This one is Legacy on the Land: A Black Couple Discovers Our National Inheritance and Tells Why Every American Should Care, by Audrey Peterman and Frank Peterman. And this is an older Black couple that traveled across kind of the United States on like kind of like a grand tour, where they visited tons of national parks and stuff. And I already started it, and of course the first one is Acadia National Park. They're from Florida, so I think they visited some friends in New York, and then went up to Acadia National Park, which is the only national park in the state of Maine where I live. So I thought that was pretty cool. Definitely enjoying it so far. The second half of the book, I believe, is about maybe some of the reasons why not as many minorities, not just blacks, but like all like Asian Americans and Mexican Americans and everything like that, Hispanics, don't go to the national parks as much, even though it is kind of like open to everyone. The kind of like the hidden barriers and obstacles that are there. So I'm interested to learn that, just because I'm always like outdoors in nature and stuff, and I always want to encourage like everyone, obviously, to take advantage of that, especially like in the United States, where we do have a lot of like state parks and national parks and public lands, wildlife preserves, things like that. So I'm definitely interested to see, like I said, the second half of the book, where it kind of explores those kinds of themes and what we can do kind of to help out and change those statistics. So definitely interested in that. And also with this one, I meant to buy the hardcover or something, because it was like the same price. I know getting the softcover, and I was kind of like, yeah, whatever. But then I open it, and it looks like it says Love Audrey on in the cover there, which would be the author of the book. So I thought that was pretty cool, getting kind of like a hidden autograph book. So there's also that. And then for my last nature book, I'm going with Unbound, a memoir by Wangari Maathai. Wangari Maathai was a Nobel Peace Prize winning political and environmental activist from Africa. I believe she was like one of the first women in Eastern Africa to earn like a PhD, or at least a PhD in ecology or something like that. But I had heard of her before, but I'd never realized she actually has a couple of books out, and this is, like I said, this is kind of like her autobiography. And like I said, just kind of, it's going to be interesting just to see how she overcame some of the challenges she faced, just being a political activist and obviously kind of like a corrupt government and whatnot, but also using that activism to also kind of bring light into like kind of environmental issues and stuff. She started like the Green Belt movement, I guess, which I've heard in like reference in other works, but don't really understand. I guess I like I said, I haven't like actually researched it myself, so I'm kind of hoping to learn more about that. But it's like kind of it was a growing kind of environmental movement in the 70s and 80s in Central and Eastern Africa, with planting trees and things like that. So definitely interested to see that and learn more about this remarkable woman. All right, and then now let's go on to some of the Greek history. For the first one, let's go with the audiobook I plan on listening to, which is, what was it? Fail. Oh, The Rise of Athens, and this was by Anthony Everett. I've read a couple of his other works. I think I read Hadrian, his biography of Hadrian, his biography of Cicero, and there was another one. His biography of Alexander the Great. Now, all of them, I think I gave like Cicero like 4.5 stars, Hadrian 4 stars, and like Alexander 1 3 stars. So it's kind of been like kind of all over the place. So I'm hoping The Rise of Athens, which isn't really a biography. Well, I guess it'd be like a biography of a city, I guess, if that even like makes sense. But I'm hoping this one kind of pans out. It seems to be a little bit longer than the other one, so maybe he'll be able to flesh things out a little bit more. But it's kind of cool, like looking at instead of a biography, looking at like kind of the history of just a particular location and seeing kind of how it transformed over time. Obviously, Athens is obviously the Greek city-state, the polis that we know the most about, that come down through the sources. A lot of Athenian writers have come down to us and whatever. Obviously, tons of archaeology, a lot of sources just, mention Athens and stuff because it was such, the biggest cultural center of the Greek world. So definitely have a lot to work with. So I'm hoping this one turns out really well. And then for another Kindle book, it's actually, this one I think is from NetGalley. It's Robert Garland's How to Survive in Ancient Greece. And I think this is kind of like in the spirit of, how to like live on 25 denarii a day or whatever, or 25 denarii. That was completely Roman, 25 drachmas a day or something like that, or a year. There's like a whole like list of books that kind of like on that, if you were like a tourist back then, like how would you like spend your time and money and whatever. Of course, 25 drachmas would be like quite a bit. I think that'd be like almost like a month's worth of wages. So maybe it's like, I don't know. Anyways, I think it's just basically it's going to be like sort of a social history on how people actually like lived and what they ate, what they actually did and stuff in ancient Greece. I'm always on that lookout for social histories. It's probably like my favorite aspect of reading histories and stuff. So definitely just looking forward to that. I think Robert Garland also taught a great course from one of the great courses from the teaching company, I want to say, but don't hold me accountable on that because I'm too lazy to edit that out if it's not true. But I want to say he did. So obviously that would mean he's a top-notch professor and must be classical or ancient history. So definitely looking forward to that one as well. And then lastly, for one of my very short introductions I've had for a while is Herodotus, a very short introduction by Jennifer Roberts. Herodotus, also known as the father of history, wrote the histories, probably the first work of one of the first works of serious history in the world. But he's also known as the father of lies from some people, but I don't know, it is an interesting work if you read the histories. It's definitely pretty entertaining. A lot of people obviously read it for the eighth book, which is the actual main narrative of the actual Greco-Persian Wars, with like the Battle of Thermopylae, Plataea, Marathon, Salamis, things like that. But he takes a lot of tangents on the way to get there. Like I think book 2 is like all on like his like lore of ancient Egypt, and some of it is just like so like crazy and whatever. But like I said, it is really fun to read if you want to read a Greek primary source. Definitely more entertaining per se than Thucydides' Peloponnesian War, though the Peloponnesian War is objectively a lot better, work of history, whatever. But I'm hoping this book kind of just shines a light on kind of like Herodotus, maybe like his thought processes and stuff like that. I'm not really sure what this book is actually gonna like contain, to be honest, because there's really not like that much on Herodotus, the person to like learn about as it comes down to us, with a lot of like ancient authors and stuff. So yeah, like I said, I'm not really sure what that was gonna be about, but hey, it's on Herodotus. Sounds entertaining. I'm gonna try it out. And like I said, I try to read like one of those very short introductions each month. So there you guys have. Those are the 7-ish books. I'm gonna try. Oh no, there is a Warhammer book. Sorry, Warhammer. Sorry, fiction. My token fiction book. For now, I'm joking. For my Warhammer read, I'm gonna keep going a little bit in the 40k stuff. I only read like I think 4 or 5. I'm going with Rachel Harrison's Unbound, a Severina Rain novel. Severina Rain apparently is a commissar. I don't know if there's a female like adjective or version of commissar, but anyway, she is a commissar in the Imperial Guard, kind of like with like Gaunt's Ghost and Caiaphas Cain, but obviously a female counterpart. So it's definitely cool to see them branching out and obviously trying to be more inclusive and more diverse with their characters and stuff. So definitely excited to see how that plays out, obviously with a female author too for Black Library, which I think there are a few others, but not too many, but I'm glad to see that they are trying to expand a little bit. So like I said, the cover looked really cool. Like, she's got a cool pose, and I have no idea what those guys are, because apparently they're on the Imperium side, but they look like Helghast from like Killzone or something, if you guys like remember those games from like way back when. But they're not like Space Marines, so I have no idea like what is going on here. But like I said, just trying out something new. I haven't read too many in 40k, and probably maybe that's like super obvious what those are, if those guys are, if I had read other stuff, but I haven't. So those are the 7-ish books that I plan on reading in the month of July. Hopefully I'm able to get all of them. Hopefully I enjoy all my nature books and also my Greek history. Like I said, it's been going pretty well for me in that aspect. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. Leave some comments down below about any of these books, authors, if they sound cool to you, what you think about them. Tell me what your book that you're most looking forward to reading in the month of July is. I'm always on the lookout for more recommendations. And then all the plugs, don't forget to check out my Instagram, Twitter. I'm building my new website, so it's not triumphalreads.com anymore, it's readvictoriously.com, because I was dumb, and I guess it expired, and like the day after it expired, some weirdo like bought triumphalreads.com and like leads to nowhere, so I had to like switch everything over to Read Victoriously and blah 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 blah. But anyways, check out all that stuff. I'll leave all the links down below, and always remember, whatever you're reading this month, read victoriously.